Hey guys, welcome to Quinn's Tree Farm. Coming to you straight through the power of YouTube, right from Cornville, Maine. Today we are getting into tree shearing. It's August, middle of August. I'm 3 weeks behind. Life took over a little bit, and we got to hit them hard before Christmas to get these trees out. So I thought I'd go over my shearing techniques, what I've learned over the last couple of years, how I do it. It is not necessarily the right way, but it is my way, and that's what this channel is all about, is sharing with you how I have done things in my journey. I want to go over the three tools I use to shear a tree, a couple of tips that I've found that work in making tree shearing a little bit easier, and maybe some do as I say, not as I do's, or otherwise things that I get away with. So stick around and let's get to work. Okay, so let's talk tools. There are three main ways that I shear a Christmas tree, side shearing and leaders both, and they involve a different set of tools for each. The first way that I shear is I use a shearing knife and a pair of Falco #2s is what I have now. Had a lot of these and I've lost most of them. And I use the shearing knife in my right hand and Falco #2s in my left hand. You can get these through a ton of different places. I got this one through Calco. It's from the Sharp Shop, and I've had really good luck with it. I use a 16-inch knife with a 12-inch handle. I find for me the balance is very nice at that, where I can use my wrist and really snap. I have a 16-inch. And as you can see, it really has been sitting in the back of my truck because I don't use it nearly as much. And I am not really good at taking care of my tools. I find this has the right balance. You can also get 6-inch handles. I don't like those. I didn't have good luck with them. So for me, the 12-inch handle, nice balance. I guess it's like a baseball bat, and you got to find the one that works for you. So we have shearing knife, Falco #2s. This is what I would call the bread and butter of shearing, especially that I've gone to. I do probably 90% of my shearing with this setup, and we'll go over that in a little bit. The way my dad does it and the way that I learned how to do it is using hedge shears. Instead of cutting a hedge like that, you use them upside down and you go around and you shear a tree by hand with the hedge shears. I find this to be much more surgical. You can control the shape of a tree much better because you're cutting each individual bough on a tree. Each individual cut is a different branch, and you can really do a good job with these for surgical and much more perfect or much better shaping. The trade-off is it takes a lot longer, right? You have to go through and cut every one. Lastly, I have the DeWalt hedge trimmer, which has been very helpful, and you can shear a tree using this. It is not as heavy as my steel gas jobs that I use for basil pruning and other heavier stuff, and you can really move. The downside to this is obviously heavier than the knife, but you can really get good angles and shape trees nicely. What do we use to clean? I use ammonia. Straight out of the gallon jug, right into the sprayer. We spray ammonia on the blade and on the Falco shears, and it peels that sap right off. Take a paper towel and clean it right up. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's go over how I shear a tree using the shearing knife and my clippers. As you can see, I have a glove on my right hand. That prevents me from getting blisters. I do not use leg protectors. That's probably a no-no. However, if I cut myself, I'm not going to tell you. So there's that. I do wear socks long, kind of like a geek. The reason I do that is when I am traipsing through the field, it just keeps the stuff off my ankles, and I don't mind. Don't like that. So when I start out with a tree, we're going to look at this one. This is what I would say is a blue balsam, maybe a, I don't think it's a Fraser. I think it's the blue balsam from Weir's Tree Farm. Jay, if you're watching this, let me know if this is one of yours. I think Bryant bought from you previously. So we're gonna look it up and down, and I want to see what the shape looks like. And of course, I'm kind of slowing down for you guys because I wanted to show you what I do. When I attack these, I go much faster. So we're gonna do a little bit more surgical stuff here, and I want to show you some of the things that I do right off the bat. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our leader, and it's gonna be this one. So I gotta cut this one out. That's coming right out. And then this one is down. If it was up here, this one's down a little bit. So then I'm just gonna leave that as my start. As I'm looking at this tree, I wanna stop for a bit and share some things with you. And these are, might be some of the downsides, some of the trade-offs that you have with knife shearing or sage shearing or other machine shearing, is you don't really get a chance to pick a node where you want to make the cut. As you can see here, we have a couple of new growth spots. I call these ingrown toenails, but these are junk. We don't want these, right? Well, if I take the knife and I go through, I'm gonna miss those. So I gotta come in here and I gotta get rid of them. So I'm just gonna go in. Typically, if I had the knife in my right hand, I would be doing this with my left hand, and I'm gonna pick those out because we don't want ingrown toenails. They're ugly. So we cut the ingrown toenails out, and I just go around and take a look and see what's what. Looks like there was a little bit of trouble there, but other than that, I think we're in good shape. Now, we're not going to get all of them, and that's okay, but we can always be looking. When you go out in the field to do any work, you should probably always bring a pair of clippers, because undoubtedly you're going to get in here and you're going to see a tree, and you're always going to try to want to work on something and cut it out. Here, let me show you this. Other things that I look for, something like this. This is ugly, all right? And this is classic. I do this all the time with knife shearing, and I swear every time I do it and I have to go back. But what happened here is when I came down with the knife last year, I cut, let me see if I can show you. So I sliced off right there, and in turn that is what we get. Well, that's ugly. So those have to come out. If I shear over here and that happens while I'm over here, I'll go ahead and I have my clippers in my left hand, and I'll try to correct those as I'm going, because you just don't want those ugly ends. They don't make anything, and they don't work. Here's see, look, I can't even stop. Now that I have it, there's ingrown toenails all over the place. I could do that all day. All right, let's go get the knife. All right, now that I've gotten my little surgical work there done, at least for a little bit, till I come back and want to do it again. See, I can't stop. We're gonna attack this tree and we're gonna shear it. When I shear with my right hand, and I come across my body like that, and I shear away. So when I shear, I'm shearing away from my leg. So leg guards are gonna protect you down there when you do work there, so you need to be extra careful for that. And then I have in my left hand, I have my clippers, and I just keep my hand down to the left, right? My left, right? So I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna attack this tree. And I just want to get into the new growth. I don't want to get into the old growth, because that would be counterproductive. And we're just gonna swing. And when I swing, I snap my wrist like swinging a hammer. And I just go around, and I kind of make a shape of the tree that I want. Trying to stay out of that old growth, getting into the new growth. On a tree like this, I'll go around a couple of times. The good guys, the fast guys, they can do it in one fell swoop. And now I come down low. I'm gonna hit them at the bottom. I keep that knife very loose in my hand. I don't want to have a death grip on it. And you don't really want to have people behind you, because if you snap it away, you might lose it. And then I come up We take about a foot if you want. The 12-inch handle is a good indicator. And then I'm not very good at cutting off. And that's how we do it with a knife. Something like that. Sometimes I'll do the reverse taper. And then we get in there and get that stuff all out. The other thing I do, because I can't help it, while I have my pruning shears, is sometimes I end up basil pruning while I'm here. Because I want to see what they look like and I can't stand it. It's not very efficient. And I don't do it on every tree. But sometimes I just go in there and get that cleaned out, giving it that nice stump. And actually, I'm going to come up one more. On a tree like this, giving that a nice little, about 12-inch tree trunk. It's perfect. Yeah, can't go wrong with that. All right, and that's knife shearing, the way I do knife shearing. If you have any other ways to do it, put it down in the comment section below. Okay, before we start shearing this bad boy, let's talk about the MCTA Summer Fall meeting held here at Quinn's Tree Farm on Friday, September 16th, Saturday the 17th, and Sunday the 18th. Friday night, there's going to be a barbecue here, very laid back. People are going to be able to chill out. We're going to have a bonfire and just get to know each other and sit around the campfire and share stories about trees and whatnot. Saturday, we're going to go over to the Lakewood Inn restaurant. We are going to have guest speakers. We're going to have people here from the Board of Pesticides Control, so you can get your pesticide credits. Maine Forest Service is going to be here talking about defensible space in the Christmas tree industry and Christmas tree fields when it comes to wildfire, because we don't want to burn up our Christmas trees. And we're going to have a couple other speakers that day as well. On top of it, we do have to conduct our annual business meeting stuff there too. Then on Sunday, well, before I forget, Saturday night, you'll be able to make dinner reservations at the restaurant if you so like, and you can make a reservation for the Lakewood Theater, and you can see the evening play that is going on that night. I will link that stuff down below, and because I can't think of it right now, I will see right now. Those letters down below are going to tell you what's playing. And you can go ahead and you can make your reservations at 474-7176 or online at www.lakewoodtheater.org. Sunday, we will be back here. We're going to have a shearing demonstration. My father is going to show people how he learned how to shear trees. We're going to have a farm tour. I'll have all my equipment out for people to see. We can have the run of the place. You can see what it is like to take a old Christmas tree farm that was on the verge of growing up into adult trees and wayward trees and bringing it back so we can have good solid Christmas trees to sell for years to come. That's here on Sunday. Maine Christmas Tree Association members, mark your calendars. It's going to be a good time. Look forward to seeing all of you. I want to share what I have. People who watch the videos or people from New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, come on up. Maine's a great place to take a vacation, and if you take a vacation that week, stop by and learn a thing or two about Christmas trees. Why are these good? Well, we can do surgical work with them. Same thing though, I'm gonna start out and I'm gonna work on my leader. So I wanna cut that guy out. I wanna do a 12-inch leader, but if you notice, I can see the bud sets. There's no point in having anything if there's no bud set there, because these bud sets, these nodes, are where next year's buds are gonna come from. If there's no space there, if there's no bud there, there's no growth going on. So we want to have about a 12-inch leader. I'll cut it back to here, and then you can see those bud sets will be the start of the next year. When I do the top crown, I do my best to make them about even. We take this little guy out because we don't want to have another leader there. He's gonna steal. And then we just start going down the line and shearing each little branch as we go. I like to go around in a circle because that way I know that I've hit the whole tree, because my father gets mad at me, and if I don't, he says, Matt, you only sheared half the tree. I do my best to get every tip. The reason being is we don't want those crowns to come out into anything more than a 3-tip branch, because that's what ends up happening where you get those extra leaders. And then I can go ahead and I can control the tree. The cool thing about this is if I see something I don't like, I can just get in there very simply and shape it all off. But as you can see, it's going to take a little bit longer to do, and there's a fair amount of arm work to go along with it. But then I can come back and I can always pick and see what's what. This is a very good setup for small trees, early trees, where you don't need to do much to a tree to shear it, get the leaders cut off, things like that. Go in there and cut specifically what you want to get out, as opposed to doing the whole thing in one fell swoop. A little bit of control. My father always taught you don't want to hit a bunch at the same time. If you notice, I go back and hit all of them individually, and I get that nice shape. And that's kind of how I do a tree using head shears. Now, if you noticed, we don't shear like this. That's weird. We shear like this. That's better. All right, the hedge trimmer. I think these work better on thicker trees. It's kind of a mixture because you're not swinging. You have control of the machine, so you can go in and do surgical work a little bit as well, and then you can also get the nice cone shape. So my DeWalt, you just hit there's a little safety there, hit the trigger, and there it goes. And I just go in and just start shearing. I need 1 leader, and then 12 inches or so. Right there, that might be a long 12 inches. It's a little bit better. The other thing you can do with this, I find, is I kind of do that undercut. I've talked about that before, where I just go in and kind of give it that little bit of a reverse taper. And there, that tree is all sheared up. And that doesn't take very long, right? So what I'll do a lot of the times is when I get tired of my swinging a knife, I'll switch to this, or I'll switch to shears. I prefer, for speed and just quiet and quickness, I prefer the knife and the clippers. I really do think hands down, the best way to do it is the shears. There's no doubt in my mind that gets you the best quality tree. And then the hedge trimmers, to be honest with you, are a nice, innovative setup to do it by hand if you have a lot going. So that's that. That's how I shear. You know, it's nonstop here at the tree farm, so this was kind of a talkie. This was an explanation video again. But I want to get something out to you guys. See, you can't even stop. You gotta let it go, Quinn. You gotta move on. Got too many to do. Wanted to give you guys a quick video, just a refresher on how we shear. So if you want to come give me a hand, you could. I've already taught you. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. And as always, you know I'd really rather feel bad in Maine than feel good anywhere else. So there go, my friends. I'll see you soon.
Ah!